rising stars, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Hey, I'm my rising star. I just want to thank y'all for all the love and support that y'all have been showing me. And today's story time, y'all, I got to tell y'all about the day when somebody broke in on me. And this still to this day have me traumatized. I think I was like, I had to been about 15, getting ready to be 16, because I had a baby. And there was this man who lived next door to my grandmother, light-skinned man. He was a creepy man. He had a blue and a green eye. And this man was creepy. And my granny pretty much raised me, majority of my life. Uh, well, the time that she was here, and it was just like the house that she lived in. He moved. It was like some duplex. You had the front part of the duplexes, then you had the back part. Well, the man moved in, and when he moved in, it's just like all kind of weird stuff started happening. Like every night around 12 o'clock, somebody would knock on the door, and I'm just like, you go to the door, nobody's there, and you just like, what the world is going on? But you're young, you ain't thinking about that. I got a baby, and I'm just thinking about, just trying to take care of my baby. And I had a friend, I had a guy friend, and he would come over all the time, and I would just be like, how come every time when you hear it never happened? So my granny would always tell him he can come over. We would have to sit in the living room and talk or whatever. So we would always sit in the living room, but it just seemed like soon as he leave, this person or whoever it is would come and knock on the screen. We had a screen locked or whatever. So my mom and my daddy and them had came down from Austin, and they had wanted to take my son back. And uh, I don't remember how old he was, but he was old enough for them to take him back. And my granny, she didn't approve of that. She didn't want that. Mm-mm. So I told him, I said, yeah, y'all can take him back for a couple of weeks, and bring them back, or I'll come up there and get them. So they stayed like the whole weekend. I think they stayed the weekend down, and they would come down there, and I would always tell them about the stuff that was happening. And my mom would come down there, and she would drink her beer and stuff on the porch. And my granny, she would be like, they better not be out there drinking. So she didn't like that. She was straight up Christian. She didn't like none of that drinking, none of that stuff on her porch. And they would always sneak and do it. And so I had told my granny, I say, well, my son, he was gonna my son, I'm gonna let him go back with them for a couple of weeks. You don't need to let that baby go back down there. You need to leave that baby here. You not doing nothing but running them streets and doing this and doing that. And so I'm just like, nah, I need me a little break too. But I think he probably was, cause I know I didn't just have him. I know he was some months. He was some months. So we all go down, because it was my dad's mom that lived down the street. So we all go down there, stay down there for some hours, and then they would drop me off, me and my son. They would drop us off at the house, and then they would uh, like the next day or so, I would get up, and I would get us dressed, and then we'll go back down there. And that Sunday they was getting ready to leave. And I kept telling my dad, it is something weird about that man. Mom was like, yeah, I know that man. That man ain't never been no good, and this and this and that and all that other kind of stuff. So, y'all, it seemed like um, it was a truck. It was a truck sitting across the street. And me, I'm just like, all I could think about from the last time when the truck was following us, I'm just like, I know this man it's been a whole year or so. This man ain't back over here messing with me. So the whole time, my mom and them getting all of the stuff ready for the baby, for the baby to leave. My granny, she mad. She was mad. She didn't want him to go, and I was like, Granny, I just need a break, because my granny was just like, she was one of them grannies. She was old school, and everything had to be particular. Everything had to be a certain way. I couldn't bathe my baby when I wanted to. I had to sneak in back. Oh, it was crazy. So, um, when we finally got all his stuff uh, together, they left, and I cried. I cried. I cried. And she said, yeah, you doing all that crying because you let that baby go, and you shouldn't have let that baby go. And so she was really mad at me. So I cleaned up the room and put all the stuff up, all the stuff that we had to put up, that I was packing his stuff up and everything. So um, probably about 3.5 hours or so, they called me, let me know that they had made it. And I was just like, okay, good. But I was missing my baby. I had, when you, especially just a couple of months, but they really wanted to take him, and I really wanted him to spend some time because I wasn't going back to Austin. Mm-mm. I could not. I did not want to be in Austin. And uh, about like, I think once I got my bath and I got everything, and I was on the phone, and my granny, she told me, it's 10 o'clock, you got to get off the phone. You couldn't be on the phone in her house after 10 o'clock because she going to go unplug the phone, or she going to go do something. So I said I didn't want her to unplug the phone because, just in case they called me or something. So uh, I was asleep, laying in the bed, and just happened to open my eyes, and there was a man standing over me. All I could do, y'all, was scream and holler. That's all I could do was scream and holler. And I ran in there, and my hold on, y'all. All I could do, y'all, was scream and holler. I ran out that room, and I said, Granny, I said, it's a man in that room. And she said, ain't no man in that room. I said, yes it is, it's a man in that room. She told me, ain't no man in that room. You just going crazy because you let that baby go out of town. You shouldn't have let that baby go out of town. You just going crazy. And I'm just like, I know for a fact it's a man in that room. I'm not just going crazy. So she was just like, just get over here and lay down on the bed, on the other side of the bed. And I'm just like, why am I gonna lay on the other side of the bed? And the window was next to the same window that he just tried to come in. So I'm just like, oh my goodness, what is going on? So I finally calmed down, finally went to sleep, because the dude never came through the door. He never came through the door of the bedroom when I ran out. He never came through. So the next morning, I couldn't really sleep. And the next morning, I asked my granny, I said, why was you so certain? And why you didn't even get up or check or nothing? She talking about, because if he would have stepped 1 foot through the door, she would have blew his head off. And I'm not knowing that she got all her little stuff right there where, all her little stuff right there where she needed. I'm not knowing that. So I'm just like, oh, so whoever that person either knew, or they knew not to come. They knew something, because they did not step through that door. So the next day, I tell my brother and them that I think it was my brother. I don't even know if it was my brother or who. And I told him about what happened. We go in the room. Sure enough, the screen was off the window. It was through into the yard next door, and the window was closed, but it wasn't locked. I said, I told y'all. I knew it. I knew somebody was in that room. If I wouldn't open up my eyes, y'all, I just don't know what would have happened if I wouldn't have opened up my eyes and seen that person standing there. And I told my granny, and she was just like, we'll call the police. So we called the police, and the police was just like, it wasn't really nothing they could do, because it was so many hours that passed which it was raining, and any type of fingerprints or whatever. I'm just like, I'm young, I don't know, so I had to go with it. But I'm telling y'all, that was one of the scariest days of my life. I never slept in that room again. That scared the mess out of me. I was so scared. I didn't know what to do. Just imagine somebody standing over you when you open up your eyes, and then you go yell and scream and tell somebody, and they tell you, "Oh, you crazy. You ain't nothing wrong with you. You just let that baby leave and go out of town. Now you're going crazy." And in my mind, I'm thinking maybe so. I didn't let my baby go out of town. Maybe that's true. Maybe so. So, it was kind of crazy, but that, y'all, that was so scary. I could not believe that. And then what really made me think it was the guy with the blue and green eye, because he would just be looking at you like so crazy every day. And I would always speak to him, "Hey, Mr. Such and such and such, how you doing?" And he would speak back. All of a sudden he stopped speaking, he stopped saying stuff. So I'm just like, if that was anybody else, they would have probably not cared to come through that door or chase me out of that room, or they wouldn't have cared about nothing else. That man knew. He knew what was up. He, just from being over there, him being creepy and weird, and his kids and stuff already didn't like coming around him, and he did all kind of other stuff. Yeah, that man was something else. And so one day I seen his daughter over there, and I didn't know that his daughter was the person that I grew up with. So I'm like, "That's your dad?" She was like, "Yeah, that's my dad." I was like, "Oh, okay." She said, "Why you say that?" I was just like, "Mm-hmm." And then she was just like, he's strange and creepy, ain't he?" I say, "Yes." She said, "Yeah, our mama won't even." I had to be a lot older before we could come around him, because our mama wouldn't let him come around him. So I'm just thinking to myself, like, that had to have been that man. Right to this day, I still don't know if that was that man or not, but I still think in my mind that was that man that came through that door, because every night that man would knock on that door, and every time you go to that door, he wasn't there. And he caught me slipping one night, and I left that darn window open, and he came through that window and thought he was finna do something, but baby, these lungs showed him a whole different side, because I took off up out that room. But it is so crazy. Just imagine, just, I don't know, just stuff like that happening today. You not even finna probably survive nothing like that if you don't have no weapons or nothing to protect yourself, because you just really have, I'm young, I didn't have a baby, and my granny, she mad because I didn't let my baby go out of town. But I'm just like, that's my mom and my daddy, they ain't finna do nothing to him. And that is just crazy. And I after that time, I was just scared. I just didn't know what to do. But I finally, told my mom and them what had happened. They was like, "You need to come to Austin for a little bit. You need to just get away." So I did. I packed my stuff up. I didn't want to leave my granny. I did not want to leave my granny. But I went to Austin, and I stayed for a little while. And then I think from Austin, my cousin them had moved to Georgia, and I think I went to Georgia. From there, I stayed from Abilene for a long time. And when I finally made it back to Abilene, that man had moved. Oh, I was so glad I didn't have to see that man again when I finally made it back to Abilene, because that man was creepy. And I mean, I can't say it was him because I didn't see. All I seen was eyes, and I could just start screaming out. And they didn't. My granny didn't believe me until the next day. The next day, what if this man? He could have been still staying in the house, or he could have been. It was just, oh man, it was crazy. It was crazy, and nothing never happened like that. And all of a sudden, you got trucks following you, trucks parked across the street, and you trying to figure out why this person is It's crazy. And then all of a sudden, your baby leave, and then this person try to come in. I don't know, y'all. Y'all just be careful out there. All you young people, be careful. Watch your surroundings. Watch who you hang with. Watch who you be with. Cause I tell you one thing, people will make you wonder about them, and you just be just like, and sometimes what you wonder is really really true. Cause I thought something was creepy, and it was about that man. I knew something was up with that man, but I just could not point the finger at him. This man had a green and a blue eye. Now, I don't know, was he born with the green and blue eye, or did something happen for him to have a green and blue eye? But this man had a green and blue eye, and this man was the creepiest person that you could ever have met. And he just used to walk around and just look at you like this and come over there. How Miss Miller doing? She's fine. Oh, okay. Walk around, because she had no gate. There was no gates in the back. She had no gate in the back. So when you walk out the door, you literally just walking outside. You walk to the alley, and then you go on about your little business. And you can walk from the back door, and you can see his duplex right there, because he was in a back duplex. I don't remember who lived in the front. I'm trying to think if I could remember who lived in the front. I know I can't remember. But one day I was washing some clothes, and like I said, there's no gate, and he cut across the back door. And when he cut across the back door, it's like he back, like you know how you walk and then you come back, like I can't even think of it right now, but he went this way and then he came back. I'm looking out the window like, why is this man walking back and forward through my granny yard like that? I mean, what is he doing? So I waited for a little bit, and after I didn't see him no more, I opened up the door, and I'm just like, it is something weird. There's something up with this man. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know the what was going on, but once I talked to his daughter, and his daughter told me that they couldn't come around him when they was younger. He was, and she told me he was creepy and weird. And then I was like, yeah, there's something up with that man. I was just like, So my brother had moved in. My brother in a wheelchair. Him and his wife had moved in with my granny, and I was so glad. And I would just tell him all the time, like, oh, I'm glad y'all here, because that man is crazy. That man is crazy. But they moved in. They stayed for a little bit. They didn't stay very long. But like I say, after my baby left, and I came to Austin. I came here to Austin, and then I went to Augusta, Georgia, and I stayed up there for a little bit. Then once I got back, he was moved. He had already moved, so I was grateful for that, because oh my goodness, that man was creepy, y'all. He was creepy, and I don't know what happened to him to this day. I don't know, and I haven't been back to my hometown in a while, but y'all, it's crazy. I tell you, I done seen some stuff in my life that it is crazy. Another thing is, y'all, I used to get up in the morning and go to school. I used to get up in the morning, this was before I had my son. I used to get up and go to school, and he would always be, now you live in the back duplex. Why are you always toward the front, like it's like a little field or something, like right here? This man was always in the front, like he knew what time I would leave every day. And I would go and catch the bus, or I would go down to it's like you could either catch the city bus, or you could go walk a couple of blocks down that way and you can catch the school bus. And I would always try to, you know, be like, why is this man? I don't know, y'all. This man was, he was weird. He was weird. So when you meet somebody and they weird, watch out for them, because if they weird, they weird. I mean, some people look weird and you know they cool as a fan, but some people look weird as weird. But all my rising stars, I just want to thank y'all. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, I love y'all. Peace.